Good evening, everybody. Today I am going to talk a totally different subject. I'll be making a comparison from two characters from our great epics. One is Mahabharata and another is Ramayana. These are the two epics in the Hindu religion where the complete the code of conduct or how a person should live, what is the effect of our own actions and reactions that take place in life. It described in detail. And some of the things, even though may not be maybe negative, it's only pointing out to us that how we should act in certain circumstances. Or we learn certain lessons from these occurrences or the incidents brought in the stories, how we should react in situations similar to that or almost similar to that develop in our life, real life. So now, coming to the point, everybody is born with both with a DNA, where a character of a person is normally decided by his own DNA. But then, by association from childhood till the day one live, one goes out of the world, the various association and you and the circumstances and the exposure what you have obtained in life or you are subjected to will decide your decision making capacity or your capability to deal with situations and especially crisis develop. So for that, I have taken an example. So, for example, of one character from each of these epics, one from Mahabharata and another from Ramayana. Now, in Mahabharata, as all of you know, I did not tell about the story and all this, but then the character which I like the most, people have difference of opinion, different people like different characters. So that's all up to one's own likings and dislikings. Now, for this purpose, whether it's a question of liking or disliking, whether for this purpose, for this comparison, I am opting Bhishma. Bhishma was really a godfather. That's why he was called Bhishma Pidamaha. But he's a person who remained celibate throughout his life for the purpose of helping his father to that he has given a promise that he will remain celibate forever and look after both the Kaurava and Pandava clan and bring them up by his example. So Bhishma is really a godfather in Mahabharata for these two, both Kauravas and Pandavas. And from the other side, from Ramayana, I would like to take the example of Jadayu. Jadayu, even though a word is not a human, but then the way its free will acted, even though it's a bird, it was more than a human. Its free will acted, or it developed a mindset in such a way that at the appropriate time how it reacted or acted. So these two cases, for a comparison, we will go into the two incidents and then we'll come to the real conclusion. And you can have your own opinion and comment to me also. What do you feel about it? Fine. So now first coming to Mahabharata. Mahabharata. Now I take the situation where Draupadi was being humiliated in the Kaurava Sabha after this playing of dice, and these Kauravas defeated Pandavas, and the Pandavas were finally left with none, and one by one they were making a pawn, and so I should continue the game because the Dharmaputra or Yudhishthir, he had a passion for this dice. You call it, it's a gambling sort of thing. You call it dice chooser. So he was so passionate for this game that ultimately it proved his destiny itself. Because in the game, normally the games are either won sincerely, to honestly, or sometimes through unscrupulous manners also. So in this particular incident, the dice, in the playing the dice, Pandavas were defeated by unscrupulous means, by influence of Shakuni, and finally the real ordeal the Pandava has to undergo. So after inducting everything, finally Yudhishthira decided to make a pawn of his own wife Draupadi. That is the story. Actually, that is the story. So now what we learn from this story is when this Kaurava now they claim that this is our property. She is ours. She belongs to us. So whatever way you want to deal, we are free to do it. So Vishasana declared this in the open forum where all great people are present, all Maharshis are present, all teachers are present, Acharyas are present, and both Kandavas and Pauravas are present. He declares that now I will utilize Panjali the way I like. So he started pulling her sari or the dress what she was wearing. Then Panjali was totally helpless. She cannot say anything. Now she extends her arms and requests everybody, Pidamaha, you are Bhishma, Pidamaha, you are here. Do you also form a party to all this injustice? The injustice being done to me, are you not seeing this? Can you not prevent it? But Bhishma did not utter a single word. You know why? Because that was the situation where he could not say anything. His presence of mind did not work. And finally, Draupadi pleads with Lord Krishna, Krishna, you help me out from this ordeal. And God comes and helps her to come over the crisis. So that was the story. But then Draupadi takes a pradijna or an oath that unless the complete Kauravas are annihilated, I will not put my. Even she declares that from the blood of Dushasana, this hair should be tied by Bhima or something like that. She makes a vow, and that is the oath she took, and that became a destiny for the complete Mahabharata Yuddha. Now in the case of now when you go to Ramayana, a situation occurs. An incident what I tried to bring is in the forest. In the forest, when we are gone for Vanavasa, one day then both Sita and Rama and Lakshmana, they were together. Suddenly they see a golden deer. Golden deer, after seeing that Sita got so much of infatuated with the golden deer, he immediately tell her husband to fetch and give to her. She loves it so much, so it should be captured and brought for her. And when Rama went to pick up deer, it runs away, and Rama also follows, and he follows the deer into the forest. And when they gone out of sight, after some time, suddenly a big loud noise is heard. Lakshmana, come for my help. That is a loud voice what Sita and Lakshmana heard. So Sita thought that Rama is in very great danger. He is killed. He is put to some trouble by some destructive forces. So Lakshmana, you must go and immediately help him out. Lakshmana, from his intuition, he realized that this is not Rama. Rama cannot be annihilated that easily. So there is some trick in this. And initially he refuses to go, but then finally he succumbed to Sita and decided to make a move and go. And he draws a Lakshmana Rekha, asking Sita not to cross it and go in search of Rama. But then immediately after that, Ravana was waiting for this occasion because it was his own scheme. It was a plot developed by him, and he requests for alms, and Sita comes out with the Vicha, that offering that to be given to the person who has come in the form of a sannyasi and requesting for some food. So she comes out of the Lakshmana Rekha and trying to give food to Ravana. Immediately Ravana captures her and takes her in a Vimana and start moving towards Sri Lanka. Now here, while going, then this Jarayu sees this on the mountain. Then Jarayu immediately comes forward, fight with Ravana, and he was inflicted with injuries. One of his wings was cut, and he falls down to the earth. So that is the story. that is the incident where Ramayana, this story, this portion is being explained. Now, why I taken Jadayu is Jadayu I want to compare with Bhishma because Jadayu has his own free will. He wanted to help Sita, even though Sita did not ask for a help because Sita knew that it is very difficult for a bird like Jadayu to fight with Ravana and win. So she never uttered a word asking for help and all this. But then still then, Jadayu of his own, he jumps into the fray, fights Ravana, and try to help her. So that is the presence of mind of free will which Jadayu wanted to exercise. That the goodness in it, because of his association with Lakshmana, Rama, and all saintly figures, Jadayu, even though he's a bird, he was much more than a human. So now you see, this is the story, and when we compare these two characters, now we'll come to know that Bhishma, even though he had he had very good valor and all sorts of this distinction, he could not rise to the occasion. When the real need came, he was acting very lowly. He could not help a lady who was in distress, and he keeps mum. Why it happened is because of his association with the evil-minded persons in Kaurava for such a long time. He also he slaughtered slowly in a manner that he was not in a position to act according to his will. So his will was clouded. Whereas in the case of Jadayu, because of his good association with the people like Rama and Lakshmana and other saintly figures, he could immediately take a decision for help. And this is appreciated by the Lord in both the situations. It is narrated in one of the things when Bhishma goes to Hastinapur, when Sri Krishna goes to Hastinapur, requesting for that, requesting this a portion of this land for Pandava as a mediator. Bhishma was there, but then he even though Bhishma gave all respect to Sri Krishna and stood up and all, he never even bothered to look at him or ignored him. He just ignored him because Krishna was not happy with the way Bhishma behaved in the Kaurava Sabha when Panjali was in distress. Whereas in the case of Ramayana, even though Jadayu was a bird, Sri Rama had all sorts of compassion for him, and he loved him the way he acted in that situation. And he finally, after he leaves his body, is after the soul leaves for Jadayu's body, Rama does the Udayakriya for Jadayu, even though it is a form. So he was much more than a human. Even though Bhishma was such a great character in Mahabharata, in Ramayana, when you compare with Jadayu, he was he was very, very, very low. He had a very, very low base. So that is it. So it all depends. What I want to say is, we should develop our. Well, see, everybody is born with a will, as I told you already. But then, by our own contacts and with the good people, we should develop good habits, and we should raise our soul to such a level that we are able to utilize our goodness whenever there are people approaching us at times of crisis. In Bhagavad Gita also there is a slogan where Bhagavan says, Uddare Uddaratmanam e Atmana Vasudayat Atmaiva he Atmano Bandhu Atmeva Riguratmana. What does it mean? It means Uddare Uddaratmanam. You have to raise your own mindset to such a level that you will be able to do all good things to others. Uddare Uttaratmanam, e Atmana Vasudaya. This soul will not remain forever. So whenever you are living, you have to raise your level to such a level that you are able to people who are in distress. Uddare Uddaratmana, e Atmana Vasudaya. Atmaiva he Atmano Bandhu Atmeva Riguratmana. That means your own soul is your friend, your own soul is your enemy. So set your mind in such a way that you will be able to help people whenever in need. For that, you should have complete association with good people. For that, as senior citizens, I will say that we should get into more and more prabhashans, saptahams, or satsangs, wherever it is available, wherever the opportunity strikes, you should go and participate in that, so that we should be able to help people in need. With that, let me conclude this. It's already taking a little more time. Thank you all.